at me and tell me what you see. I look at you and tell you what I feel. Look at me and tell me what you see. I look at you and tell you what I feel.
Welcome back. After, to put it lightly, a not very well received Aliens vs Predator movie, there was very little hope of seeing a sequel. But something convinced the studio to give it one last try, and not just that, but actually bother to make it a direct sequel to the original, as opposed to starting from scratch. Which, I applaud the perseverance, but let's just watch. This is Aliens vs Predator Requiem. So as I said, the film takes place directly after the first, with the Predalien being born. The ship, which is by Jupiter at this point, releases a smaller ship that contains the Predalien and more facehuggers in jars. A Predator is attending to his trophies when he's killed, and the Predalien proceeds to rampage, killing the entire crew, causing the ship to crash as a hunter and his son watch. If you can't guess, the Predalien will be our main antagonist for the film, which personally I don't like, because although the aliens do appear, the Predaliens means the filmmakers can make up whatever they like. There's no established rules there, making it less about a xenomorph and more just a generic monster. And combining the Predator and Xenomorph into one creature does undermine the premise somewhat, making it feel less satisfying. Also, it's nice to see them pissing on the Predator franchise didn't stop with the last film. Fortunately, it's a recurring theme. The hunter and his son find the ship, and as he taps it with the butt of his rifle, inadvertently points the gun at his son's face. Another responsible gun owner for you. But the facehuggers contained within the ship escape, and one Predator is still alive to send a distress signal before the Predalien kills him. Our first victims, let's be honest, apart from our main characters, everyone is cannon fodder, just like in the first film. It's inevitable. Run to get the sheriff, because apparently an earth-shattering space crash was only noticed by people so close to it, it could singe their eyebrows. And as they run, the facehuggers attack, one jumping at the hunter, who shoots it out the air and its blood eats through his arm, severing it, and then another gets him. But if you think a child watching his father get mutilated and die wasn't bad enough, this film lets you know it's not fucking around.
Dad?
Yeah, we got that to look forward to. Now here's something we haven't seen before, as the film takes us to either the Predator homeworld or a Predator-controlled planet. And the universe's most over-engineered computer screen informs our main Predator for the movie that the ship has crashed and he goes to solve the problem. The Predator is referred to as Wolf in the credits, so that's what I'll call him. He's called Wolf as a reference to Harvey Keitel's character Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction, who was a cleanup man for criminals. And that's essentially this Predator's job, as we'll see. It's a good, slightly odd reference, I guess, if you bother to look at Wolf in the credits. And the mask Wolf takes has writing on it. The writing in their language means, not for glory, not for honour, not for the hunt, but to clean up the mess. Which is a nice bit of detail that's not openly stated, plus it shows that this Predator is different to any we've ever seen. It's not about the sport or trophies he's after, but as it says, cleaning up the mess. In the town, one of our main characters arrives, ex-con Dallas, named after the captain of the Nostromo from Alien, of course. He's picked up by the sheriff, who takes him to see his brother. And then we meet our second main character, Ricky, Dallas's brother, who's working at a pizza place. He's given a delivery, but is reluctant to go because it's the house of a girl he likes. And why is this shit in an Alien or Predator movie? Predator was about badass commandos. Predator 2 was about hardened police officers. And all of the Alien films were either about Marines or people who worked on spaceships and other planets. Where the fuck does teen angst bullshit fit into any of that? You know what this is? It's a teen slasher film, with other things thrown in. That's not what these franchises are about at all. Meanwhile, a police officer investigates a local sewer entrance, finding the local bum staying there. But the bum's dog brings home the hunter's arm, which brings the search for the hunter and his son. At the same time, Ricky makes his pizza delivery, ogling the girl for a second before knocking the door. Getting inside, insults are made.
It's a cute outfit, Ricky.
Yeah, it's in Halloween in October.
Because now I know who ordered the sausage lovers.
setting up who the bullies are immediately, and when Ricky leaves, getting a longing stare from the girl, he gets jumped by the appointed bullies, beating him and throwing his keys into the sewer just to be dicks. They're forcing the hell out of this teen drama thing, aren't they? It's like bullies, the guy's crush, the troubled brother, and the badly treated kid. It's pretty obvious that the worst, most out-of-place aspect of this film is also the most generic and badly written. Like the writers didn't even bother because they knew it shouldn't be there. It's just such a tonal whiplash for the entirety of the Alien and Predator series. Meanwhile, on to more interesting stuff as the chestbursters are ready to emerge. First from the hunter, and then his son. Yes, this film has the rather dubious honour of being the first Alien Universe film to have a chestburster emerge from a child. Not much to say to that, really. Next, there's another goddamn main character, Kelly, home from military service, making her the de facto strong woman Sigourney Weaver. Although, unlike Sigourney Weaver's character, Kelly has none of the development. She's a strong military woman with a daughter. That's pretty much it. And good God, this movie is a disjointed mess with no cohesive main narrative. It had better pick up soon. Dallas and Ricky meet at home, and Dallas stops him from leaving with a baseball bat, offering to help him find his keys. Back in the sewers, the bums are attacked by facehuggers, and when the lady bum finds them, the Pred alien takes a special interest in her. Yes, because as I said, they made up the rules for the Pred alien as it can impregnate women with multiple embryos, which takes the metaphor that xenomorphs are supposed to represent the fear of rape to a very literal degree. Also, that metaphor was meant to be gender neutral, but the Pred alien only seems to care about women, which says more about the writers than anything else. But anyway, finally our predator Wolf arrives on Earth. And when he arrives, he immediately wanders through a swamp with water fucking up his camouflage. Great start. Wolf discovers the crashed ship and finds his way inside. He finds the predator that sent the distress call, and upon switching masks with him, he sees the Pred alien. He also takes a sample of the liquid the facehuggers were swimming in, allowing him to track them more effectively. Okay, apart from the tiny mistake at the start, this predator is shown to be a lot more intelligent than the other predators we've seen. Also, it's nice to see predator technology isn't just really sharp stuff that can kill. And now Wolf knows what he's up against. He proceeds to arm himself with everything he can find, setting the ship to self-destruct, and then taking a second plasma cannon. You might want to move, Wolf. Move? For the love of God, stop standing around looking like a badass and get the hell out of there. Phew, he got out of there just in time. A situation that was entirely his own creation, so that was just stupid, really. Also, the predators in the first movie were completely useless without their plasma cannons, so Wolf having two means he's doubly effective. Back with daily life, and Kelly is about to read a bedtime story, but her daughter prefers her father to read the story. And I don't care. You can't have an alien monster movie and then start talking about the troubles people in the military have when they come home. Makes me think you're not taking one of those seriously. Shifting to the brothers, they're going to get Ricky's keys back because it's taken them till nightfall to start looking for some reason. And after searching through, Dallas finds alien skin in the water and they hurry out of there after hearing a roar. At the same time, a search party is out in the woods and Wolf watches as he inspects the dead bodies, then liquefies them to eliminate the evidence. Which again is pretty smart, except he's seen by a police officer who runs for it. But Wolf catches him and kills him pretty quickly. Now, obviously, because Wolf is there not for the hunt, he's going to dissolve the body as well. Yeah. The next day, Dallas is at the town diner and he gets chatting with the waitress. And I'm going to spoil it for you. You know the majority of the setup here and the characters we meet? It's just so we know who dies pointlessly later, so don't get too attached. And the sheriff informs the waitress of the now missing officer. There's more searching in the woods now for the officer, and they find him skinned and strung up. Right. Why the fuck would Wolf do that? He's there to clean up a mess, nothing else. It takes a pretty shitty cleaner to clean up a mess and then just replace it with their own brand of mess. Wolf has managed to track the xenomorphs to the sewers. This movie spending so much time in a sewer, it's almost symbolic. And Wolf dissolves the homeless people's bodies. Back to the blandness as Ricky is invited to go swimming with Jesse, cause you were really hoping they'd get together, weren't you? Wolf, still in the sewers of course, has another moment of intelligence and places tripwires in the tunnel as he makes his way through. And once he knows he's got the place sectioned off, he makes himself known, as the xenomorphs come out of the woodwork. The lasers activate, killing some aliens, but Wolf gets overrun, and before he can shoot the two aliens that have a hold of him, which would have been a pretty dumb idea considering the acid spray at that close range, the Pred alien emerges, hitting Wolf and causing the tunnel to collapse on him, and the aliens manage to escape the sewer because it wasn't as secure as Wolf thought it was. Also, I'd love to see someone stumble upon that place and run into the lasers Wolf completely fucking forgets about. And Wolf, being full of gadgets, uses some kind of device to enhance his strength, punching through the roof and reaching street level, uncloaked. Again, stealth. Couldn't give a fuck. Now he cloaks. Well, I admire the effort, I guess. Meanwhile, at the diner, our first of many non-essential characters are to die, as first the chef kicks it, and then the Pred alien impregnates the pregnant waitress, killing her and her unborn child. Yep, that just happened. You know, there is a such thing as crossing some kind of line. I know the filmmakers wanted to do something that's never been done before to raise the stakes, but I like to think there's a reason it's never been done before. It's just gratuitous shock value with little effect on the film. Wolf tracks some xenomorphs to the local power plant, shooting at them. Would have thought he'd focus on the Pred alien, but never mind, these will do. The aliens start killing the workers, and Wolf makes his way up to where they are. But because we can't have too much excitement, it's back with Ricky and Jesse on their swimming pool date, as she strips down to her underwear for some adolescent fan service. And then her ex-boyfriend arrives with his cronies.
Just remember, Ricky, I taught this little slut everything she knows.
Well, the boat has sailed on any kind of realistic character for these guys. They're bullies, they're horrible people, they're gonna die. That's all you need to know. And Ricky starts a fight as they all drop into the pool. At the same time, Wolf is having trouble with the aliens as he's knocked off a walkway and gets impaled, and then pretty much destroys the plant, trying to kill one xenomorph. You know, I'm starting to question this Predator's abilities. He's not inspiring much confidence. So all the power goes out and the pool goes dark, which coincidentally is the exact same time aliens enter the water to, as I said, kill the bullies in that film justice way of things. One manages to die before getting out of the water, and the rest run off. And yeah, it's a group of teenagers running from a monster in a high school. The teen slasher is complete. And it's such a stock direction to take this film in too. It's like the only kind of horror writers can make anymore is the fucking teen slasher. Where's the creativity, for God's sake? They try to get out trying the chained door, but they find an unlocked window to use with another bully getting picked off. And speaking of getting picked off, Kelly's daughter is using night vision goggles to see outside, spotting a xenomorph waiting. And because Kelly is our Sigourney Weaver...
See? No monster.
It's not like we knew enough about him to give a shit, and he's really not mentioned again anyway. Back at the school, an alien is feeding, and Wolf shows up just in the nick of several minutes later to kill it, pushing the bodies into the pool and pouring in dissolving fluid. Wolf's very good at getting rid of bodies, but when it comes to cleaning up other things, he's lacking. I think he might just like dissolving things for no particular reason. Dallas is with the sheriff at the power station investigating what happened when Ricky and co show up, because after being attacked by monsters, naturally you'd go to the local power plant. I mean, it's just common sense. Ricky explains what he saw and what happened, as Dallas and the sheriff go to the school, finding the pool empty of water and blood leading where the other guy died, sans body. Once again, not the best cleanup job, Wolf. And at the diner, the hunter's wife finds our waitress has given birth to triplets and then runs out. Which are two scenes meant to inspire fright and horror, but they appear so quickly and disappear just as fast, there's really no way to get invested in the atmosphere with it jumping from character to character and place to place. Speaking of which, Kelly and her daughter run to the local cemetery of all places, and they find a creepy guy holed up there with a gun. At the same time, Wolf patches himself up in the trees, cause the film might as well rip off scenes from Predator. And then, for reasons beyond me, Wolf decides to kill the guy because he was threatening them with a gun.
Shut her up! Shut her up! Shut her the fuck up or I swear to God!
Now, I've never seen a Predator be completely altruistic like that. The guy was nowhere near him and not a threat at all. Yes, he had a gun, but he wasn't a threat to Wolf. Like I said, he's not there for the hunt. Therefore, the regular predator-prey rules shouldn't apply. And he keeps making more mess for himself. Dallas and everyone else are travelling to the police station and they nearly run over the hunter's wife, who's in obvious shock. Dallas convinces the sheriff they need guns, raiding the local gun shop. They get kitted out with everything they can carry, and that's when the National Guard rolls into town, with the sheriff making contact with them on the radio. Just in convenient time to hear them all get killed off by xenomorphs. And then the line goes dead. 2 more people join our group, and then Kelly enters the gun shop as Wolf watches xenomorphs getting in through the windows. At the hospital, people are being quickly brought in, and a heavily pregnant woman arrives as well, as the Pred alien spies his next rape victim. And in the maternity ward, we get it, filmmakers. You're not afraid of killing children. You know, adult violence can get so over the top that it becomes childish again. And this is the perfect example of that. It's the filmmakers just sitting there giggling, saying, oh, let's have a chest burst to kill a child. Oh, and then we'll have our special alien constantly kill pregnant mothers. Everyone will say we're so fucking edgy. Grow up for fuck's sake. The Pred alien then, as I said, goes about killing all the mothers in the ward by literally shoving aliens down their throats. Back at the shop, Dallas is grabbed by Wolf and strung up surprisingly quickly, so he can be bait for aliens. Why he needs to be strung up, I don't really know, just the people being there should be enough for bait. A xenomorph appears from the shadows but is swiftly killed by Wolf as he decloaks in front of everybody, to which they naturally point their guns at him, leading to the deaths of our 2 recent additions. And then the last bully is killed when an alien jumps him and Wolf shoots it, causing the acid to splash on his face. I gotta admit, it's satisfying to see the douchebag characters get graphically killed, even if they are poorly written cardboard cutouts. Back at the hospital, a doctor starts seeing his patients die as he watches the heart monitors. And the film even attempts time travel to save the people from dying. What? Don't believe me? Just watch. The first heart monitor says it's 2006, and then the second one says it's 2005. 2 dates made all the more baffling because this film takes place directly after the last film, which was set in 2004. And the doctor sees all the dead. Oh, but don't worry, the film kindly lets us see one of the women die, so that was nice of them. Then the doctor dies as well. Yay for pointless gore and death. Our surviving group comes across the abandoned National Guard vehicles, cause remember, always head towards the scene of an ambush and massacre. The sheriff tries to radio the rest of the National Guard and it's picked up by a Colonel Stevens, and he tells them that an airlift will pick them up from the centre of town. But to continue the theme of this film script playing everything by the numbers, the Colonel isn't interested in airlifting anyone. You know, the whole evil military thing. The group take one of the armoured personnel carriers and make their way to the evac. And Wolf takes his 2 plasma cannons and combines them into one handheld pistol. I guess they were just too damn efficient for him. Kelly stops the truck and realises that the evac is false and the Colonel was lying.
I think the Colonel was lying.
That's crazy. The government doesn't lie to people.
I'm just going to leave that one there. Do I need to say anything? No, I don't think I do. The sheriff insists that they should go to the centre of town, cause he's an idiot. So the sheriff leaves and everyone else makes their way to the hospital where a helicopter might be. They reach the hospital and enter through the morgue, and Wolf has also reached the hospital as the film gets ready for its final showdown. It's about fucking time. The group move through the stairwell, and then one of them is killed and Jesse runs off. Although it's so fucking dark in this film, you can hardly tell. I haven't mentioned it yet, but the lighting in this film is quite horrendous. It's too dark at the best of times, and whole sections of the film are just shrouded in darkness that's not atmospheric, it's just pitch black. You know what? The fuck with the nonsensical subtitle Requiem. There, at least it makes sense now. Wolf wanders around the ward inspecting the dead women until the Pred alien barges through, and they start fighting with aliens joining in. Wolf stabs one of them, which luckily doesn't melt his wrist blade or his arm. And then Wolf shoves his dissolving liquid canister in an alien mouth as we watch it slowly melt. See, I told you, Wolf just enjoys melting things. Wolf throws some shurikens, killing more xenomorphs, but Jesse runs in their path.
Jesse! No, wait!
Wow, they really don't give a fuck about these characters. That wasn't even a satisfying conclusion to a character. All the setup was for naught. I know they're trying to be dark and edgy by killing off characters like this, but when you kill off characters for no reason and no plot relevance, it makes that entire character superfluous. But now Ricky's angry and starts shooting at Wolf, distracting him while a xenomorph pushes him down an elevator shaft. Dallas stops Ricky from constantly shooting down the elevator, and after Ricky picks up Wolf's gun, the Pred alien skewers him, as Dallas shoots, causing it to run off. Meanwhile, the sheriff has reached the centre of town, and they're holding back the alien horde, which we don't actually see anything of. I guess they just couldn't get that many costumes. The main group have reached the roof of the hospital and make their way across. They get trapped by aliens, and Kelly starts shooting, but Dallas manages to blast a hole in the fence, allowing them to escape. And back at the square, the colonel tells the sheriff that his evac will be there soon, obviously not telling him it's actually a bomber. Ooh, he's evil. Wait, we need another cliché before we continue.
God help us all.
There we go. And at the hospital, Dallas volunteers to stay behind and hold off the aliens.
Get to the chopper!
Ugh. Arnold, would you mind?
Get to the chopper!
See, that's how it's done. Dallas keeps them at bay as the rest get to the chopper, which they start up, and Dallas is nearly charged by a xenomorph until Wolf smashes his way through the roof, and then the Pred alien appears out of fucking nowhere for a final climactic fight scene. But Ricky won't let Kelly take off without Dallas, as more xenomorphs attack, with Kelly shooting them through the windshield. But Dallas does indeed make it, taking out another xenomorph in the process. They take off, leaving Wolf and the Pred alien to fight. Which, someone should have told the filmmakers that when it says Aliens vs Predator, it didn't mean in a straight-up fist fight. Because when they're just fist fighting, there's nothing distinctive about these creatures coming into play. It might as well just be two humans boxing. The film then rips off Predator some more as Wolf removes his helmet in a very deliberate fashion. And all I'm thinking is, why the fuck is the Pred alien just sitting back and waiting for him to finish? Like I said, the fight is a standard fist fight, until Wolf rips its tongue out and stabs it through the head. But nothing gets affected by the acid blood. People argue that nothing melts because the Pred alien doesn't have acid blood, which doesn't make sense because the xenomorph is bred to be an apex predator. So when it bred with the Predator in the last film, it should have took the traits from both xenomorph and predator species, with none of the weaknesses. But according to this, the only trait it took was the Predator's ability to have throat sex with people, which I hope isn't true. But yes, the nuclear bomb is dropped and all those people we didn't care about die. Boo-hoo. And back in the helicopter with more people we don't care about, they're escaping the explosion while the dial says they're doing barrel rolls for some reason. But they do indeed make it out alive, and they're picked up by camouflaged troops in the forest. I have to question the necessity for the nuclear bomb. Because let's be honest, yes, there's the possibility of aliens getting out of the town, but if they threw as much military resources as possible, they could have successfully quarantined. But, I hear you say, the bomb is quicker and cleaner. But is it? A nuclear bomb is detonated on American soil, and you don't think that has the potential of starting some kind of nuclear war? I have my doubts it would be that well contained and out of public view. And for a closing scene, the Colonel hands over the plasma cannon to an unknown woman.
The world isn't ready for this technology.
But this isn't for our world, is it, Miss Yutani?
Nope, it's for building better worlds. You know that's what they were going for. So that was Aliens vs Predator Requiem, a movie 1/3 Predator, 1/3 Alien, and 1/3 shitty teen slasher film for no fucking reason. It's hard to say if Requiem is as bad as the original film because it started on such a low bar to begin with, but it's certainly a bad film, with large amounts of the film rendered completely pointless due to characters killed off unceremoniously, and others that just don't go anywhere. I do appreciate the larger focus on the Predator aspect, and Wolf was certainly a more competent and interesting character than the previous film's Predators. but the Predalien was an unnecessary addition, with many things about how Predaliens work being made up specifically for this film, which, as I said, made it more of a monster than a genuine xenomorph. And I think I said all that needed to be said about the teen slasher thing, but it was the main contributing factor in making this feel less like a canon story. Also, the Brothers Strauss, as they like to call themselves, sure like killing women and children to an unsettling degree, which I'm sure won't be a recurring theme for these videos. See you next time.